Do you ever feel like peace is an impossible dream, always just out of reach? In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly running from deadlines, worries, and even ourselves. But what if peace wasn't something to chase? What if it was already within you, waiting to be discovered? Join me on a transformative journey through 3 captivating Zen stories. Each tale is a stepping stone toward understanding and mastering inner peace, a gift that's not found in the world outside, but deep within. Let these stories guide you, as they have guided countless others, to a state of calm and clarity. The Overflowing Cup. In a bustling city long ago, there lived a young scholar named Haruki. He was renowned for his intellect and ambition, always seeking more knowledge, more accolades, and more recognition. Despite his success, Haruki was restless, haunted by an unshakable emptiness. One day, Haruki heard of a Zen master named Ichiro, who was said to hold the key to true peace. Determined to find answers, Haruki journeyed to the master's secluded temple. When Haruki arrived, he bowed and introduced himself. "Master Ichiro, I've read every sacred text and studied the greatest philosophies, yet I cannot find peace. Please teach me." Ichiro smiled kindly and invited Haruki to sit. The master placed a teacup in front of Haruki and began to pour tea. The golden liquid filled the cup, then overflowed onto the table, pooling on the floor. Startled, Haruki exclaimed, "Stop! The cup is already full." Ichiro paused, setting down the teapot. "Exactly," he said. "Like this cup, your mind is full of opinions, judgments, and expectations. There is no room for peace. To find it, you must first empty your cup." Haruki spent weeks with Ichiro, learning to meditate and let go of his endless striving. At first, it was excruciating. Sitting still felt like torture for his overactive mind. But slowly, he began to notice moments of stillness, like sunlight breaking through stormy clouds. One day, as Haruki sat by a quiet stream, he felt a profound sense of peace wash over him. It wasn't something he had gained, but something he had uncovered, like finding a hidden treasure within his own heart. Haruki returned to Ichiro, bowing deeply. "Master, I understand now. Peace isn't something to achieve. It's what remains when we let go." Ichiro nodded, his eyes twinkling. "The journey has just begun, my friend." The Unmovable Rock. The next story takes us to a remote village surrounded by towering mountains. In this village lived an old farmer named Taro, whose calm demeanor was a mystery to all. No matter what hardships came his way, a storm destroying his crops, a neighbor's betrayal, or even the loss of his beloved ox, Taro remained unshaken. One day, a group of villagers gathered around Taro, demanding answers. "How can you stay so calm when life is so cruel?" they asked. Taro chuckled softly. "Let me show you," he said, leading them to a massive rock near his field. The rock was weathered and cracked, but stood firm despite the wind and rain. "Do you see this rock?" Taro asked. "It doesn't fight the storm or complain about the rain. It simply exists, unbothered by what it cannot change. When we resist life, we suffer. When we accept it, we find peace." Taro's wisdom spread through the village, inspiring many to adopt his outlook. Among them was a young woman named Aiko, who had recently lost her husband to illness. Her grief was overwhelming, and she felt trapped in a sea of despair. Aiko visited Taro, seeking guidance. The old farmer listened patiently as she poured out her sorrow. Then he said, "Your pain is like the river after a storm, wild and uncontrollable. But it will settle in time if you let it flow. Be like the rock, Aiko. Allow the storm to pass without resistance." Aiko took Taro's advice to heart, practicing acceptance each day. Slowly, her grief softened, and she began to find moments of peace amidst her pain. The Empty Boat. The final story begins on a misty lake, where a monk named Ryota often meditated in his small wooden boat. The lake was his sanctuary, a place where he felt closest to the divine. One morning, as Ryota sat with his eyes closed, he felt a sudden jolt. Opening his eyes, he saw another boat had collided with his own. At first he was angry. Who would be so careless, he thought. But then he noticed something surprising. The boat was empty, drifting aimlessly with the current. Ryota laughed aloud, his anger dissolving. "The boat is empty," he said to himself. "It wasn't anyone's fault." In that moment, Ryota realized something profound. All his anger, frustrations, and resentments were like the empty boat. They weren't caused by others, but by his own mind clinging to blame and judgment. Ryota's insight transformed his life. Whenever he felt anger rising, he would pause and ask himself, "Is this an empty boat?" More often than not, the answer was yes. His anger would melt away, leaving behind a sense of lightness and peace. Ryota's story spread far and wide, teaching others to see their emotions for what they truly were, passing clouds in the sky of the mind. The journey to inner peace. These 3 stories, Haruki's overflowing cup, Taro's unmovable rock, and Ryota's empty boat, offer us timeless wisdom for finding peace in our own lives. Empty your cup. Let go of overthinking, expectations, and judgments. Make space for stillness and clarity. Be like the rock. Accept what you cannot change. Resistance only deepens suffering. See the empty boat. Recognize that much of our pain comes from within. Let go of blame and find freedom. Practical steps to inner peace. To bring these lessons into your daily life, try these simple practices. Meditate daily. Spend a few minutes each day observing your thoughts without judgment. Notice how they come and go like waves in the ocean. Practice acceptance. When challenges arise, pause and ask yourself, what can I control? What must I accept? Focus on what you can change and let go of the rest. Reframe your emotions. When you feel anger or frustration, remember Ryota's empty boat. Ask yourself, is this emotion caused by the situation or by my reaction to it? Inner peace isn't something you find in the world. It's a state you cultivate within yourself. These Zen stories remind us that peace is always available, waiting beneath the noise of our busy minds. So, take a moment today to pause, breathe, and let go. Empty your cup, be like the rock, and embrace the wisdom of the empty boat. The journey to inner peace begins with a single step, and that step is yours to take. What part of this story resonated with you most? Share your thoughts, and let's continue this journey together.